I'm in my bathroom because there's like a door and then another door, so it's actually ends up being really quiet in here. And so I don't think anyone else in the rest of the house can hear me unless they're so next to this room is of course my parents' room, and I think the only way that anything can be heard in here is if it was someone's in the bedroom or bathroom next door. Slightly echoes in here. There we go. Tiny room, good acoustics. So, anyways, I posted online about the what was it? Men who have problems and need love from multiple women, and especially if they have an unhealthy relationship with their mom. And it was posted in Authentically Wed. And then it was also like that screenshot was posted in Authentically Wed. And then also, along with that, I wonder if she blocked me. I was trying to look for one of the ladies on Facebook. No, she didn't. I wonder what happened. One of the ladies that's on Facebook who actually posted it on her Facebook page. I was looking for her, but I couldn't find her. So I don't know what happened. Anyways, so she, no, not her. And then also the person who originally posted this question was a guy, an African American guy. And so I was mainly thinking about all the people who are brought up by single moms. And so it's not just in the African American community anymore, or mainly in the African American community anymore. And I mentioned where they're brought up by single moms or maybe by a toxic mom. And I say that because I know of, I have one friend, acquaintance friend, toilet, twist being in the bathroom. So, anyways, I have one friend. She is about to have her third child. She has two sons. She's been married once, and each child has a different dad. And so that's why I say it's not just in the African American community. So I just wonder, like, okay, I wonder how true is this, because I have heard or seen of other guys who like go from women or woman to one woman to another. And so I'm like, I wonder. So yeah, that's why I posted that question. What was it? Oh yeah, so also it turns out I'm allergic to bananas. I I was not aware that I was allergic to bananas, and then I was talking to my sister whenever I saw her at the funeral, and it was like a weekend that I saw her. So I saw her Saturday night. I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, because me and my mom had arrived, I think, Friday night, Saturday, and then after that, like, we were there, me and my mom were there until I think Wednesday afternoon. And so me and my mom drove up to Ohio. My dad, because he's an airline pilot, thankfully, he still has a job, so he can still fly everywhere. But he hasn't been able to actually fly because nobody wants to fly. So it severely limits things. With his company JetBlue, which is contracted, I think, with United, he is not able to fly out of Greensboro, which is his home base. So basically, even though he's contracted with JetBlue, and even though technically they do fly out of Greensboro, there's barely any flights going out of there. So, for example, this month I think I don't know how many, there might be a few dozen, like one every day or something. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. Greensboro, North Carolina. So there's that. But at the same time, next month there's not a single flight going through JetBlue, that's flying out of Greensboro. And so it's like, oh. So in other words, he will have a job. He'll be on short call or long call, but he won't be flying. So short call is basically where they call you about 2 hours before you actually have to be on the plane, or have arrived at the airport. So like someone that gets sick 4 hours before their flight, and so they have to quickly find another pilot. So they end up calling someone, and the person has to be at that airline or at that plane within 2 hours. Cold room. So now I'm sitting on carpet. I'm really glad this is here. I really need to get washed. So that short call, long call is basically where my dad has to be at the airport within 12 hours. So they call him, let's say 6 p.m. on a Monday night. He has to be at the airport by 6 a.m. the next day on Tuesday. Susie. Because they need him. Or it could be like 14 hours. So 8 a.m. the next day. So yeah. Some days he's on short call and some days he's on long call, and he's super responsible. And I say that because I am distracted by this little piece of tape that was under there. There's a tiny piece of tape. I'm not sure if you can see it right here. But yeah, this is brand new. I have no idea what I'm going to put underneath there once I clear some of the sawdust out. So, yeah. I still haven't put, I can place some items like shampoo and things that I would use in the shower. I can do that. So, maybe no. I was thinking about placing like shampoo and soaps up there, but those, this is weird, slightly. Tampons and pads, and I'm comfortable telling you because you've been around women and women bathrooms. There's less likely a chance of them falling if I shake it. So, sort of flimsy to a certain degree. So yeah. Anyways, so back to short call, long call. So yeah, right now my dad is still being paid, but he's not actually flying anywhere. And so he's just waiting to be furloughed or something. So it could be furloughed, it could be finding a different job. It could be that he's looking for, I think he's doing both, is looking for another job with more job security. But whether in the computer field or whether with teaching people how to fly, because COVID-19 has really impacted the economy, as you fully know, has fully impacted the economy. So it's kind of like, So yeah. What else? So yeah. Yeah, okay, so bananas. So my dad, he flew out and he picked up my sister on Saturday from Minnesota. And then him and my sister ended up driving all night over to Ohio. And then they arrived Sunday afternoon. And so they got there at 8, and I got to see my two nieces. And yeah, cute, as you can tell by the videos. So my older niece, Bristol, she's 3. And she'll be 4 in August, just 7 days before mine, and 7 days after my dad's birthday. And then my other niece, she's only 1. So there wasn't much interaction there. Of course, she can't talk. And her name is Chloe. And so, cute kid. But yeah, she likes to place things in her mouth. And I remember at one point she started crawling into the living room, and my sister saw where she was going and like sort of ran it after her. And it's like, oh, so yeah. So she was talking and she was explaining, I forget exactly what she was talking about, and I asked how she, like, she mentioned that she was allergic to bananas. I was like, how do you know that you're allergic to bananas? And she said, oh yeah, well, I would go ahead and eat bananas, and after I would eat a banana, my stomach would be upset. Well, after a while, I thought it wasn't so bad. Like I guess she hadn't had a banana in a while, and then she ended up eating, I think, banana nut bread, and so she ate some of it, and she felt, I guess, her stomach became upset and some other things, and they found out from the person who made it, like, hey, what is it made out of? And turns out that it was one of the ingredients is bananas, and I was like, interesting. So she mentioned all that, and then suddenly, like, everything made sense. Because sometimes, even though I would eat nothing but fruits, I would still feel as though my sinuses were clogged up at like sometimes. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm still eating lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, but my sinuses still feel clogged up. What's going on? So, I need to move this over, I think. Sorry, it's not perfectly symmetry, asymmetrical. No, not asymmetrical. It's not perfectly like centered. There we go. So it's kind of like, what's wrong? There we go. All right, a little bit more centered. Now it feels weird because I didn't have it centered before. So yeah, before it was like this was, or the back part was hitting that. Now it's not. And they're not perfectly. That's interesting. Like the front part is slightly more out, and the back part is slightly more in. Huh. Wonder what that is. It's interesting. Okay. So anyways, but yeah, that just me eating the banana and like suddenly sinuses problems coming on and such, and I'm like, that makes so much sense. So hence why I found out, or how I found out, realized that I'm allergic to bananas, is because my sister mentioned that she's allergic to bananas, and I'm also allergic to bananas, which also makes sense with me eating, I think, apricots is the fruit. Like I'll eat, I think it's apricots for me, another fruit I'll eat, and then suddenly my sinuses just fill up like that. And it takes me eating a bunch of other fruit in order for that to just go away, so that I don't have that issue anymore where I'm like, I can't breathe, ah, through my nose. So yeah. So there's that. Oof, ow. Oh. Another thing, I won't be making videos every day. I can make, simply because I don't want it to feel like a relationship. I'm still okay with keeping in touch and such. Just that'll be mainly through other forms. So like Facebook or otherwise, like every day or almost every day. And then YouTube, it won't be as often. So it might be every other day, or it might be longer. I haven't, I guess it just depends. Like I had decided, and then it's like, I'll make a video today, so I don't know how often it'll be. Um, so yeah, it just depends what's going on and such. So, well, before I would like try purposely to go out my way and make videos. Nowadays, not so much. And that's simply because, again, um, yeah. So, yeah. Let's see what else is going on with me or has happened. So, yeah, okay. So, I saw my sister. She arrived Sunday. And in regards to bananas. And then Tuesday night, like late Tuesday night, my sister and my dad ended up driving, like she spent time with her cousin. And then after that, her and my dad ended up driving all night to get back to Minnesota. And then my dad, Wednesday morning, ended up arriving at the airport, or like arriving at Minnesota airport, and then he ended up flying over to the Detroit, Michigan airport, and me and my dad picked him up, and we went over to the house and picked up a few things, dropped off a few things, and then came back home. So yeah, we ended up doing that, and so yeah, and then drove most of Wednesday, arrived, and then my dad mainly drove Wednesday night, and I just slept, I was out. And then Thursday morning, we arrived home, and I think I asked off for Thursday just so that I could sleep. And I think Friday, I'm not sure if I was off or working on Friday. So, yeah. Um, it was good to see her. So, and good to see the kids. And again, even if I like never talk to her again or never speak with her again, it's like I can't really do much. Tim, I'm still Facebook friends with him. He's been kind of neutral through all this. I haven't talked to him and like actually had a conversation with him in a few years. I'm not really have tried. I guess it's because, like, if I have a chance to still see photos or whatever of the kids, and I guess of my sister, I still want that chance. And I'm afraid that basically I may become bossy or something with them, and I don't want that. So, yeah. Great. Now I felt my sinuses. I need to eat some fruit. I haven't really had much fruit over the past few days, so it's because I don't have to eat bananas all the time. I can finally actually like breathe a bit more. But right now I feel it in like my second cavity or something. Like not this right here, but the one behind it cavity. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. One of the sinus cavities in the back. So yeah, but this still gives me a chance for that. And then, of course, my dad gives me updates of what's happening with them. So, yeah. Another thing I did want to let you know is basically, if you like, with the more personal questions, because right now I don't know how often they're checking, and that's simply because, like my managers at one of my jobs, the job is closed at the moment. So, I don't know how often they're checking that website. So if you like, I can go ahead and answer some questions or like whatever personal questions. Excuse me. But once I start the job and then I will delete the answers later that night. And it's simply so that I hopefully will have the managers seeing the answers. So this way it still gives you a chance to ask personal questions or ask anything similar to that, and it won't be too intrusive, hopefully. So yeah. So questions, answers, I'll delete those, and then but whenever I start that job again, I'm guessing that they'll probably end up checking my answers a little bit more often because I'm not, I'm very focused on my job. So, for example, I'll stay focused on my job, but most of the people that work there are actually a bit younger. And so, um, one of the ladies, at least, she goes ahead and she'll like talk to the fellow employees, which I think it's good to build rapport and like get to know other employees. But she does it a bit often, but she's really good at her job. And so that's my guess of why she hasn't been fired. And then also she's good friends with one of the managers. So the way to keep a job is to be friends with the managers. So yeah. So yeah, going to try and be friends. That's really sad. I'm friends with them out of fear. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up on that, just so that you're aware. and that way it still gives you some kind of freedom to ask me questions and interact. I did realize that basically, more than likely, you've already found a solution of how to handle, like if times are bad or hard for you. Which in that case, then I'm really like proud of you, really glad. And so, especially coping strategies. So in that regards, I'm glad for that. And so, itchy, yes. In that case, I'm definitely glad for that. That you have realized and found some coping strategies as to help you out, so that yeah, so it helps you out. So yay, good job. Um, yeah. What else? I hope that you're able to get a pet. Especially since in my case I don't have any pets. My sister, however, I found out from my dad that they now have, I think, a Shih Tzu. Could be totally wrong. It's you might know what it is. It's a lap dog, and they have gray and brown hair, and they're usually long haired, and they're probably maybe like this tall, so probably about a foot high, foot and a half long. They're really, really cute. And my sister was able to get one because someone she knows was supposed to get one and they couldn't get it. So, like, due to circumstances, they weren't able to get it. And so they were given a dog, and it's like, oh, precious. So, yeah. I'm like, that is so cute. So, yeah, and in my case, like, yeah, I'm not going to get a pet for a while. I'm just going to accept it. I was also looking at betta fish, I think a few weeks ago, and or a couple months ago, and I found out that betta fish, they need large tanks. I mean, include other fish with them, but they need large tanks, not these simple fish bowls. And I was like, no. So yeah, um, maybe I'll try and find a different fish that can handle a goldfish bowl. Maybe I'll get a goldfish. Though they might also need a large tank too. Yeah. So, anyways, um, I can't remember if I told you. Oh yeah, last time I saw you, I noticed or I realized that you were wearing boots, and I was like, wait, cool. So yeah, um, so yeah, it was skinny pants, skinny jeans, and then also a plaid shirt, or at least it was button up. So yeah. From what I could tell. I also noticed that you had shaved, which, from what I understand, you don't shave that often. And so, just for a simple fact, or like you never shave, from what I can tell, unless it is for the Christmas Carol or if you are in a relationship. So, I'm guessing to a certain degree, you're happy to see me. Despite the circumstances. Um, but yeah, so the jacket I had on, a lady gave it to me. There's actually a slight tear in it, and I need to, so not tear, but it's sort of coming apart. So I need to take white thread and sew it back together. Right now, I've gotten some of my sewing done, which I'm super excited for because I've put it off for a couple of years now. So I've gotten that some of that done. This video is 24 minutes long already, and with that being said, I'm going to upload this and then I'll start making another video. So yeah, but I'll talk to you later. Bye. Let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about, and I'll be able to respond today, naturally. So yeah, bye.